All right, we will call the Plan Commission meeting to order. Everybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved. Amendment development plans for 2040 Maxwell Drive, Girard Development LLC.
Good evening, Plan Commission. So tonight, the applicant has submitted amended development plans for 2040 Maxwell Drive, which is also the multifamily development that we're pretty familiar with by this point. The proposed amendments to the plans are strictly outside of the building itself, so they aren't changing the building's density or number of dwelling units. What they are doing is removing the rooftop solar array panels and replacing with a ground-mounted flower solar array. Amending the parking plan that includes 6 additional stalls. Extending some storm pipe by 30 feet, removing eastern retaining wall, and thinning some bituminous pavement. Tonight we do have the applicant here to present on some of the key details themselves, if you'd like to come on up to the podium.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the Planning Commission. My name is Paul Girard. I'm represented here by my field supervisor and foreman, Leo Doley, and my son, Alexander, who's hopefully going to take over the 3rd generation. Tonight, in front of you, I wanted to just take a little bit of time so that you can understand what our development team has been through. But the amendment is for several reasons that you have in front of you. The insurance provider that we have on this project, the insurance agent said, you got to take the solar panels off of the roof, you got to put them on a rack behind the building. So Tiffany, I don't know if you have that slide so that the Planning Commission can see that, but that was one of the amendments that we move forward with this presentation. And then secondly, we also wanted to try and save the lot that is just southeast of the current building because it cost us quite a bit of money to put that in, and the commercial tenant there really utilizes that lot, freeing up the parking up front for 2000 Maxwell Drive, the existing structure. So right here, what you have on your screen is right there at the bottom. Tiffany, you went too far. Go up a little bit.
Up or down?
Go this way, up that way.
Okay.
Sorry. Nope, the other way.
Other way.
Other
way.
The other up. The other
down.
up. So,
You want the scroll down.
Scroll down, please. So, anyways, you could see right there. So see the solar panels that we took off of the roof and we're putting them on a rack. They'll actually perform a little bit better because will be one of those racks that you can move up to a 30-degree bend to capture more of the sun. So that was one of the reasons why we're here. And then the second reason why we're here is part of our development team, our process is the project that moved forward in 17 had a much smaller cul-de-sac. We had a different zoning on the 2 buildings, but because the commercial component on the building number 1 took so long for us to rent, we decided to rezone this parcel to allow for just multifamily housing. And with that zoning came a little bit different classification as far as setbacks, front yard, side yard setbacks. So we were forced to put in a larger cul-de-sac for the fire truck to turn around. Then we were able to pick up some additional square footage, 26 feet to be exact, where the current garages are of building 1 to where the back end of the cars would be that would park up front of that. So I'm going to approach everyone. I hope I can. So I put in. We had some field measurements up there, out there today. And we do get the 26 feet that the city's asking for. What we're really here for tonight is we're asking for the parking that's currently in front of building number 1 to be northbound, so the tenants would come down, and she's got her little cursor there to show you where the tenants would come down, go around the cul-de-sac, park there northeast bound. So it would be no different than your parking lot that's right out here in your parking lot currently. You have existing parking, so I don't think it will be confusing for tenants. Once they've parked there one time, they'll know what they're doing. I'm hoping for an approval tonight from this planning commission so that we can move forward with the 21st full council, so that we can stay on board and have occupancy on that building in August. Because we have a number of individuals of this building that are anxious to move in. We have 12 units that are designed for disabled American veterans, and those units are rented for very low amount of money. We also have we will have some services that will be provided for those tenants as well, and we also have a memorandum of understanding with the local Veterans Administration. So that's what I'm here to present tonight. So I'm really hoping to receive an approval tonight of northbound on the diagonal, and it was represented that we needed 20 feet. We actually, in the handout that I gave you, shows 25 feet. So we have more than adequate measurement. So I will open it up to questions. Go ahead, Fred.
You're lessening your thickness of the by 2 minutes pavement. That really is the monkey that falls on your back anyway, correct?
Yep.
If something were to fail, you fix it?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I'll move to approve with all the recommended conditions.
I'll second.
it.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, everyone.
Final plat and final development plans at 515 Stage Line Road, Cantor Crossing, Twin Cities Land Development, LLC.
Just pass them down, Dan.
So at its January 7th meeting, the Plan Commission approved the preliminary plat and concept development plans for the proposed Cantor Crossing development. And now the final plat and development plans are being considered for tonight's discussion. Details pertinent to this development site's density and layout have not changed with preliminary plans and still include 20 twin home lots. The site has been rezoned to accommodate R2 to family residential uses as per ordinance 425, which was approved by council on March 3rd last month. In addition to the refined and finalized development plans and plat are some HOA bylaws, covenants, and articles of incorporation for Plan Commission's consideration and review. Staff finds the plans to be satisfactorily meeting zoning and subdivision requirements, and therefore we'd recommend approval of all items in this discussion item, along with the conditions listed in the staff report.
Tiffany, are the roads on stage line, are the red marks indicating that they're already there?
No, the red marks indicate changes proposed by both the city engineer and the applicant group.
And what are those? Are those just line markers?
Correct.
Paint?
And lane changes.
Okay.
And
Would that be put
turning
in as
lanes.
part of this, or is that future development?
That would be included as part of this project.
Okay.
And it's going to be included in the development agreement as well. so.
Just an FYI, that was a very, very big concern up there with council, was that the speed and the traffic control
I'm not sure.
up there.
Yep.
I think it's stage line.
What road is that?
That's stage line, right?
Yep, that's stage line.
And staff is pretty confident in the safety traffic safety measures that are,
That are being put in place. Yeah.
That's not road construction, that's just relining the road? Is that what that is? Or is that actually expanding and changing?
We actually have the applicant here tonight.
okay.
If she wouldn't mind coming to the podium and explaining this.
No, Christine Cook with Twin Cities Land Development. We're pretty much going to be reconstructing the boulevard. We've worked with staff by putting in a 10-foot trail, which would trigger us, because we have to pretty much run and connect to the water main and sanitary sewer at Heritage Boulevard and stage line. So that portion of the road will be ripped up, and then we'll reconstruct it, put in new curb, put a 10-foot trail, and then there's going to be new striping with turn lanes coming in. So that's what's going to entail.
so you were very well aware of the concerns up there on the traffic, and that's what and as long as you're ripping the road open, you might as well address some of it.
Yes, and then by adding the trail, that's going to add, a pedestrian, thoroughfare for them to, walk along stage line versus, walking along the road and so
Absolutely.
forth. So that will help with, safety from a pedestrian standpoint.
It's a good plan, thank you.
No problem. I'm here for any other questions. And then also Hugh from the Heritage Greens Board is here too as well to just make note on our discussions that we've been having on the water main permanent easement for the water main loop.
Is any of that a part of the extension of the bicycle roadways that they're proposing in the city of Hudson, or any of?
The water main loop was a request from city staff to provide, because the water main pretty much stops at Heritage Green and it doesn't go under, 35? So per the request of city staff, they wanted it to loop back to Heritage Boulevard. So that easement that we've been working with, the Heritage Green HOA, is a 20-foot easement that's on the edge of their property.
Well,
on
I
the
was just
outlook.
curious if
Yeah.
the thought process had gotten, to that geographic
Oh,
area.
for the trail?
Yes.
Well, that was
Or if it was to come through there.
yeah.
I'm unaware of both. so.
Yeah, for the actual permanent easement for the water main loop, that's just going to be strictly for the water main pipe.
Oh, you've still answered me because you've said, okay, we don't know. And I said, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I'm not aware, yeah,
Right.
so,
Thank you.
yep.
I'll move to approve with all the conditions recommended.
And I'll second it.
Motion second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. I don't have anything. Anybody?
I do have one question, and this is more probably for Tiffany. When we approve a landscaping design for any company that's coming in with a proposal for a development, let's take it, fast forward 5 years, okay? It's been in 5 years, and then you drive by it, and you look at it, and it's looking pretty tattered, some dead trees, not taken care of. It's not what it was supposed to be when it was put in, okay? Or what's not alive. Do we make any effort to make the people aware that, to get it back to what it was, or is that just upon the landowners at that point in time to take care of it once we ask them what to do? I was just curious about that, because there are some properties that, nothing looks horrible, but when you go to all that effort to plant trees and stuff like that, there's some that just let them die, and it turns pretty ratty looking, to be honest with you.
Right. So
I could say some names, but I don't want to do that, so.
preferably not.
No, that doesn't accomplish anything. I'm trying to be constructive, not negative here. How do we,
Is there any recourse, is what you're asking, kind of, right? Like any recourse of, we've said this, you've planted this, and you said it was going to look
we're
like this,
asking
and
you to
now it
keep,
hasn't.
we're asking you to keep it up.
Right.
Well, in the past, it'd be code enforcement, and then we'd have to,
All right, so I think we're getting
Process.
off on, what is it you would like to do?
Trees and bushes and stuff like that.
What's
If there's any kind of
What's the
enforcement
required,
from the cities.
yeah, required upkeep, probably, right?
Correct.
Right.
Okay, is that what you're asking for?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So 255-34F talks about landscaping maintenance and municipal code. It does specify that the property owners are responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of all landscaping, and they do have to keep it up to speed with what was approved in the plans. So if they're not doing that, then they are liable for nuisance violations per
Then who
chapter
would enforce that?
175.
A code officer.
Yeah, the code officer would.
Next question, one more, and then I'll be quiet.
Okay.
People get approval to build a garage or something like that, and they're doing it, they hire their own contractor and stuff like that.
Okay.
And we drive by it 3 years later and it's not done. The garage itself, the building has not been completed. Siding is still off of it. Various forms of completion. I guess the question becomes, is the city able to tax them at full value for that when it's not complete? Or how does that work? I was always under the impression if a building was not completely done, they couldn't assess full evaluation to the building and add it to the property.
I
If
believe
that's the
that's correct, and
case,
I believe that's
we're shooting
correct.
ourselves in the foot.
There is a lawyer here.
I didn't ask him because I know him.
Yeah, he just said no.
I mean, but I would think if
I'm
you're
just kidding.
occupying it, then you're using it and it's,
Well, do you see what I'm saying?
oh,
though?
no, I get what you're saying. I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I understand what you're
They did
saying.
obtain their certificate of
Right,
occupancy from the
occupancy.
building inspector, not the.
Nobody's committing a terrible sin. It's just, are we letting them get away with something that we should say, hey, wait a minute, finish this?
Sounds like a topic for our next agenda.
Yeah, I mean, we can't be having these discussions if you
Well,
have a
then tell
question.
me we can't do it. Then,
No,
it'll have to go on the
You can
agenda.
ask a question, but if it's something you would like to have on an agenda where you'd like to learn more about it,
yes, I would.
okay, we could do that.
I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just
You can
trying
ask Mike
to,
to come in and,
I'm just trying to fix something, I think, that's all. I'm just,
Or if you want, you could always talk to city staff, like.
I can do that
in our
too.
office
Let me
hours.
do that first. That would only make sense. Okay, well, no, I didn't know where to start, so here, I'm starting here.
yeah.
This works.
Cool.
So, okay, thank you.
Move to adjourn?
Anybody else?
Second.
All right, motion second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. Thanks, everybody.